This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Missy Kohler. News 25, local news you can count on. Today's news is brought to you in part by Dr. George Leeks, Pahrumps optometrist since 1990, offering full spectrum eye care for children and adults. Call today, 727-8300. News is also brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Thanks for joining us on this Monday. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
I'm Missy Kohler. It's August 24th, and this is News 25.
Well, the Nye County Sheriff's Office continues its investigation into an apparent weekend drowning here in Pahrump.
Someone called 911 around 11 a.m. Saturday to report a body floating in the pool at the Best Western Pahrump Oasis. The person is presumed to have drowned. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies and detectives secured the scene and began their investigation. In addition to the pool area, they also searched the victim's room at the hotel. At this time, the Sheriff's Office says the death appears to be accidental. Detectives say they'll make a final determination as to the cause of death after an autopsy and further investigation. The victim's identity has not been released.
A new school year is underway in Nye County. Hundreds of students returned to class this morning. And in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, administrators had to make some rather significant changes to the learning environment. But from accounts, there was no major issues as schools welcomed the students back to campus.
Got off to a very great start. I mean, students are excited to be here. Got to class, they've been checking their online schedule, so the opening was pretty smooth actually. We have basically three different cohorts of students. We have the A students who come Monday and Wednesday, and then they're online on Tuesday, Thursday, and then check in on Friday. We have the B students who come on Tuesday and Thursday, and then they're online Monday, Wednesday, and check in Friday. And then we have the full online students. But what's unique about what we're doing is we're doing both a concurrent and a synchronous model, which means our teachers are working with all three groups of students essentially at the same time, a little bit differently, but we wanted to really be equitable and make sure that our students got essentially the same amount of academic engagement across the three different cohorts. And we really built a model that has flexibility so that if we have to move outside to a full online model, we can easily do that and not miss a beat, and also bring it back if we transition back to this in-school model. The other thing that we've done is we've went from a 7-period day to a 4-period day, and that allows students to really focus more deliberately and fewer classes with fewer assignments, fewer sets of homework, and we just feel that in this huge transition away from what traditional school used to look like to our new model, that would just allow students to really focus more and have more success. We're using basically traffic patterns where students are always traveling on the right-hand side. The desks are separated so there's at least 6 foot of social distancing, and then all staff and students are required to wear masks throughout the day. We have an expectation that every morning parents evaluate their students, check for fever, for runny nose, some of those COVID type symptoms, and if they exhibit any of those, have them stay home and contact the school.
It was just exciting to see kids, see the kids right from the beginning. Staff was excited about it. We've missed them since March. So we've had some in and outs, some problems, this and that with signing in and all that other stuff. So some of those glitches are going to happen the whole first week. The great thing is to see the kids. Everybody's complying with the mask rule. Everybody's keeping their distance and sanitizing as needed. So that's right now, it's just making the connections right now, making sure they know that they're safe and they're welcome back, and we're just excited to have them. Parents and students, just make sure that you join something, either the online or the hybrid, and make sure we're communicated. We also, 7th graders, make sure you have your shots. We miss you if you don't have your immunization shots. You got to get those done and get them in so we can see you at school. So check in, be active 5 days a week, and again, we're excited to be back.
It's a huge change, and it was surprisingly simpler than we thought this morning. Trying to get kids to classes. We only have about 140 kids here today. A typical first day of school, we've got upwards of 500. So that part was pretty simple. Teaching the students which doors to enter through was something different, but it worked pretty smoothly, I would think.
Yes, it was really nice to see parents and kids following all the signs and just having their masks. Everybody was ready. I think I only saw one student without a mask.
This was the first year we were not able to have parents walk students to class on the first day. So that was interesting, but parents did great saying goodbye at the door. Our largest class size today is 12 kids in a classroom. So we're doing great with the spacing, the distancing in the classroom.
It's been definitely interesting and different, but it's been such a great learning opportunity, being able to work with families and students in just a different way. We were able to make really good connections with students and staff, although we were distanced. We just did it virtually, so it's been interesting.
Welcome back to school. Well, the state has confirmed an additional death related to COVID-19 here in Pahrump, and that makes 2 since last Thursday. According to Nevada State Analysis, the COVID deaths generally correspond to the cases diagnosed up to 5 weeks ago. There was also an additional 4 positive test results here in Pahrump since last Friday. And overall, there has been 457 confirmed cases of COVID-19 positive test results reported and confirmed as of this morning. Well, Chemisys Laboratory through Serenity Health is offering those drive-up testings right here in Pahrump for Nye County and surrounding communities. You can also do additional appointment testing, but if you want to do the drive-up testing, it's tonight from 7 to 9 p.m. and Wednesday and Friday, 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. Of course, you don't have to register, and you just show up with your ID and your insurance card if you have insurance. If you don't, you can still do the testing, and as well, you don't have to have symptoms. Serenity Health is located at 2280 East Calvada Boulevard here in Pahrump. For the antibody and COVID-19 testing, the phone number that you call for that to schedule an appointment, if you would prefer an appointment, is 702-234-5398. If you are in Tonopah, you can call 775-302-5800 or 775-482-9898.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, more News 25. Stay with us.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Star Nursery, your garden's partner for every bloomin' thing. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. We're happy you're with us tonight. Time now to go to Angela Miles with today's Business First briefing.
Topping our news, home sales are hitting a new record. According to the National Association of Realtors, sales of existing homes surged 24.7% in July. That is the strongest gain in 1 month in the history of the survey. It's happening as mortgage rates remain low and the number of homes on the market is tumbling. The shortage of homes drove up the median price of a house sold in July to $304,100. That median price is also a record breaker. Postmaster General Louis DeJoy tells senators the U.S. Postal Service will be able to process mail-in ballots for the upcoming presidential election in November. DeJoy also says he supports mail-in ballots and adds he has never spoken to the president about the Postal Service. DeJoy will be grilled by House Democrats today. And a shocker from Amazon. Jeff Wilke, the CEO of Amazon's worldwide consumer division, plans to retire early next year. He was viewed as a possible successor to CEO Jeff Bezos.
Thanks so much, Angela. Well, the Nevada State Office of Economic Development is offering to help small businesses affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Any business or nonprofit organization can start applying today to get help with rental assistance. The $20 million grant for the Nevada Commercial Rental Assistance Program helps businesses and nonprofits who have suffered revenue declines. The program will also provide up to $10,000 in grants to eligible commercial tenants. The business applicants must have fewer than 50 employees, have a Nevada State business license, and been in business for at least 6 months prior to March of this year. To be eligible, you must show that you have had at least a 30% drop in business and also have had a physical business location during the time period of the pandemic. For more information, you can go online to goed.nv.gov. That's goed.nv.gov. Well, the Nye County Board of County Commissioners voted unanimously on August 18th to approve Phase 1 of the Pahrump to Beatty portion of the Pahrump-Tonopah off-road trails as marked as an off-highway vehicle route. Missy Kohler has more.
This is the last route north connecting central Pahrump with public lands north of Roadrunner Road.
Most of the route follows Valley Electric Association's high voltage transmission line, which Valley Electric has given permission to use the right-of-way. Marking this route as an OHV route will help keep off-road riders and drivers from using side streets and private property to find their way. This approval by the BOCC will allow preparation information for the 2021 Recreational Trails program and pay for trail markers and marker installation equipment. Phase 1 of this project will connect downtown Pahrump to public lands north of Roadrunner Road. Coming up after the break, we'll have your health report with the Cleveland Clinic, so stick around.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Thanks for joining us. Pregnancy is an exciting time, but it's also a time when many changes take place in a woman's body. Some of those changes make respiratory infections like COVID-19 especially concerning for a mom-to-be. Cleveland Clinic's Dr. Tosin Goji says recent evidence suggests pregnant women may face more severe illness if infected with COVID-19.
They had increased hospitalization, and they had increased ICU admission, and they had increased receipt of mechanical ventilation when they compared them to women of the same reproductive age with COVID-19 that were not pregnant.
Pregnancy changes a woman's immune system to protect her growing baby, making it more difficult to fight off infection. In addition, heart and lung function increase during pregnancy to support both mom and baby. When COVID-19 invades, it affects these areas that are already strained by pregnancy, making it difficult for a woman's body to fight back. That's why it's especially important for pregnant women to protect themselves from coronavirus.
Always wear a face covering when they go out, especially when they cannot social distance, meaning they cannot be 6 feet apart from people. Limit how much they go out in crowded places as much as possible. They need to maintain hand hygiene. If they work outside the home, clean every high-touch area.
Dr. Goji adds it's also critical for pregnant women to attend all prenatal appointments. She encourages women to call their doctor if they notice decreased fetal movement or if they're not feeling well. She says doctors' offices and hospitals are taking extra measures to protect patients from COVID-19, so don't hesitate when symptoms arise.
Thanks so much to Brad Francis for that report. Well, frustrated parents are having to get creative to ensure their children are not falling behind due to COVID school closures and the challenges of unsupervised online learning. An increasingly popular solution is what is called a learning pod, basically a small group of students together and paying someone to oversee their school work. But as Kim Martinez reports, the pod parents are facing some interesting criticism.
Call it pod shaming, if you will. This opinion piece in the New York Times is one of many examples highlighting the dilemma of pandemic learning pods. Pod families are getting shamed for hiring professional educators to oversee virtual learning or privately teach their children.
My husband and I both work full time, and so, there was no child care options.
Nina Simmons says when the COVID school closures happened last spring, their backs were against a wall.
It was a struggle trying to figure out how to balance working from home, and a lot of people were losing their jobs, so of course you want to be very present at your job.
They pooled resources with another family and started a pod.
And we've hired somebody to help us facilitate the lessons that the district is going to provide us with.
It didn't surprise me that this was something that was going to come down, especially as the COVID lockdown and the questionability of the schools drug on.
It didn't take a pandemic for Tara Myers to create a learning pod. She started 1 year ago when her son Sam, who has Down syndrome, wasn't receiving what he needed at his neighborhood school.
If it's not working, we alter course. And people, I found that some people just resist change.
The pandemic pod families have met resistance, even being called privileged and elitist by some.
I do worry about those in the community that they don't have these resources, but you also want to help your child.
A 34-year veteran teacher says she understands why some families would start a pod.
If I was one-on-one on FaceTime with the younger kids, maybe for only a half an hour, they would hang up on me. And they would take a break when it was, it wasn't recess or lunchtime.
She says she supports the idea of pods because of the in-person supervision.
I think you can do all ages in a pod, but you do need somebody that is qualified to watch over them and make sure that they're learning it.
Should parents feel guilty about starting pods? Should they feel guilty about doing what's best for their kid? And how much should they be thinking about all the other kids out there?
Of course, I don't think that parents should feel guilty about it. I can say as a parent that did this myself, yes, I felt guilty.
As one of the original pod parents, Tara's best advice is to lose the guilt, but also find ways to be inclusive.
I think that if each one of us takes care of ours and then plus one.
Kim Martinez reporting.
It's time to meet another great pet available for adoption from Desert Haven Animal Society. In today's Save a Pet, Dario O'Donnell introduces us to Amy.
Today's Save a Pet is proudly sponsored by Jason Ernest with Mountain West Lawyers. Call 775-727-9500.
Hi, I'm Darby here at Desert Haven Animal Society, and today we are joined with Amy. Amy is a 4 or 5-year-old wire hair terrier. She is an owner's surrender. They say she's super sweet. She just needs a little bit of training to go potty outside. She has a very mellow personality, really sweet, comes right up to you. She does look like a classic wire hair terrier where she's all fuzzy with her little wire hair. She's mainly all black, has some white on her chest and a little bit of gray on her head. She's just a sweetheart. So if you want to come and see her or any of her friends here at Desert Haven Animal Society, call them ahead of time to make an appointment, 775-751-7020, or you can look them up on their Facebook page at Desert Haven Animal Society. Bye, Amy. She's really bored of this.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Hi, it's John Kohler. I'm just outside the KPVM Weather Studios. We'll have your weather report coming up, but it's looking pretty good. It's a personal kind of a barometer of air quality. Look, you can see the mountain. Much better than it's been the last couple days. We'll tell you all about it coming up.
News 25 Weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Good evening, Nevada, from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. I am John Kohler reporting the weather scores and highlights, and they look kind of pretty nice today. Actually, we were up in Fernley. 93 degrees was the high today, 63 for a low. That makes like a 30-degree difference. 30 degrees. Look at this, 30 degrees down in Fallon. 97 was your high. 63 was your low. Carson City, 91 degrees was your high. 59 is your low. About 30 degrees. It's getting pretty interesting at night. Cooling off nicely. Tonopah, 93 for a high. 61 was your low. Out in Goldfield, you were looking at 95 for a high today and 62 for a low. As we drift south, of course, it gets hotter and hotter. Beatty, you saw 102 for a high. 72 is your low this evening. That'll feel good. Amargosa, 107 for a high and 77. Again, 30-degree swing. Ooh, you guys going nuts. Las Vegas, 108. You didn't quite make 30 degrees, did you? No, 84 for a low tonight. But out in Death Valley, they almost made even 30 degrees. 118 degrees for a high today. 91 getting downright pleasant out in Death Valley, I guess, for Death Valley. What are you going to do? Let's look at the local weather, shall we? Highs today drifted up to 105 here in Pahrump. It's 102 currently. We have winds out of the south-southwest this afternoon from 13 miles an hour, and it felt good. Feeling good. 60% humidity. Not too bad. Get you a little dew on there. I see a little dew on myself right there. Look at that. Sunrise, 6:09 this morning. It was gorgeous. Actually, the mountains return. I looked up, but you could see Mount Charleston again. The smoke is kind of dissipating, and that's good news for folks with respiratory difficulties and cardiac problems that are out there fighting the smoke. Looks like the smoke's clearing just a little bit. Current temperature, 102 degrees. We'll see a low tonight of 80 degrees, and that'll seem very, very pleasant. Sunset this evening at 7:21 p.m. It'll be gorgeous here in Pahrump. Let's take a look at the weather throughout the week as we go. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It looks like it's cooling off generally. About 5-degree difference between your highs at 105 early in the week and 99 on Monday next. 79, 77. Yeah, we're keeping it pretty pleasant. I hope we don't have another one of those weather alerts from the National Weather Service. My gosh, it was Sunday afternoon, and my phone blew up. I'm going to get this alert. We're going to have flash floods. I look up Sure enough, there's this giant cloud, and about 10 minutes later, it was gone. So I guess that's how that works in the desert. You see a big cloud, you think a flash flood. You should pay attention. I guess I'm not going to worry so much next time. I won't have the heart attack I was having Sunday next time this happens. So that's your weather report. Back to you, ladies.
Thanks so much, John. And that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Missy Kohler. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening.